Fallen God level weapons. Next big gear step in the works, but how will we get there? At this point I wish to state, I'm quite uncertain, and would normally not make a prediction at this level of uncertainty, but it's getting wild out there, so, adding my thoughts, fact is, we don't know at this time. There are opinions of what is fair and correct. Sadly, that doesn't matter, sorry, not sorry, if whichever choice PA uses affects you positively or not. Well, I'm personally trying to get a pen black star alongside my C20 often. So that, people suggesting I'm just arguing out of my own personal interests, and can see any choice will work for me. Okay, so what have the suggested options been? Well, 1. Either C20 boss weapon or black star pen converts to new weapons. 2. You need C20 and black star. Oh you that say this is the most fair. Sure it is, but it's so short-sighted. You need to know how to relate. Need an example. It would be fair if everyone got the same cash per hours as the people playing 8 years ago, and had to catch up with that. It would be fair if new armors needed black star armor and C10 armor, as they were equivalent but only different in market price, and imagine what would have happened there. Market chaos. Yeah, some think it fair because of how the market worked out. Black star for PvE is the best, and very hard to make and buy. Whereas C20 is easier to make and buy and step it up along the way. Well, it is now, was not always that way. Some got the advantage of owning that better weapon all this time. You had your extra value, and let's be truthful, in markets at the time, where Caphras were hard to get. Black star was the easiest and faster option, cause you could upgrade to it, but maybe you could not get the C20, yeah. Not all value is reflected in market price. Dishonest to glance over this fact from the past. Sure, if you don't need a black star weapon for the next weapon, and you just bought one, you are getting stuffed. Happened to me as a new player, when 6 bill was a lot to me, just got a Tet belt, 2 weeks later, seasons were added and I was out of pocket. I didn't care, I saw it as good for the game, and posted such remarks on the forums at the time, so, option 2. Fair yes, but best option? No, option 3, I have heard others say this, but it's what I put forward at the start, as it kinda fair and allows adjustments for people that bought Black Star. It gives them something back without punishing players that will be starting the game in time to come. If you have C20, you get a base new weapon. If you have a Black Star, you get a Pry or Duo. This is the most fair, as it takes into account new players that have just joined and will join. But this sort of thinking takes, thought. Let me explain why it's most fair. First, it reduces the kick in the teeth to Black Star players. It also does not force C20 player to now tap or buy a Black Star as well, when the reason they are C20 is normally because they cannot afford to save for that Black Star. This is a catch-up technique and how it's done. When you do things correctly, if you allow either weapon to be used, it will adjust pricing of lesser weapons and the cost between pen Black Star and 20C will equalize for new players coming into the game later on. Boss weapons and Caphras will come up a bit, and Black Stars will go down a bit, because either can be used to get the new weapon. See how correct this is for the new player. You have to be a bit dented if you think it's fair to require both, but maybe you have all the time in the world, or it's your job to play BDO, as that now drives up pricing on both weapons, locking people out of the next step by a huge margin. Hey, maybe that's what you want and why you pass off, needing both as a good and fair idea. Sly of you, ain't. There is a fourth option. It could be the way PA go, but we will talk about that later. Which option do I think PA will go with? Maybe option 1 or option 4. Yes, we'll explain in a bit. If PA went option 2. The so-called most fair option by some, PA would have to correct the issues generated by that, not too far down the path, as the market and requirements put of newer and casual players from even thinking about the next step. Option 3 would be the best in my opinion. Seems fair that people who paid more get a head start on enhancement level of the next weapon. A lot more fair than asking someone to get one of the other weapons. But what is C20 and a Black Star? My offin has 3 more AP, I picked it over Black Star for that, as I don't, or didn't PvE much, so, a Black Star was a waste of cash to me. They are equivalent in a way, only difference is one is PvP and one is PvE. And because one is PvE, it's more desired and kept a high price, if you wanna talk logic and fairness, as it was your choice to buy the Black Star to get the PvE advantages that you have enjoyed all this time, and your weapon retained its value mainly and you lost less cash through depreciation. My C20, remembering that I intend on getting both C20 and Black Star pen, Cafras were at 3 mil a pop when I C20 edit. And I think the offin was 11 bill, it was pre-seasonal. So let's do the accounting, and see what's fair. Ready, 29,403 Cafras at 3 million each, that's 88.2 billion, plus the 11 bill. That's 99.2 billion, now what's it worth? About 56 billion or less. I have lost 43 billion in depreciation, that cash gone from the accounting sheet. And I earned less with it. So I have paid out 40-ish bill already, indirectly. Now you may say Black Star depreciated as well. Yes, it did. But not in the same way as it's not affected by Cafras. Until recently, Black Star held at 130 bill average, some have paid 147 bill, and some paid 120 bill. Unlike the C20, when seasonal added boss gear, it gave you a tech boss weapons, and that crashed the price of the weapons but not the Cafras at the time. You also had you pay for the upgrades after you take that pen, Black Star, well that's coming down, now you get a tet, you can gotta, or tap once to pen. Stacks are easier too, and if you had a Black Star at this time, ahead of the new weapons, you can tap that tet, and sell your current Black Star. Profits, and this was meant to help with people catching up and depreciate Black Star so that they come more in line with C20, if I had to guess, so. To the average Joe, sure seems unfair if you can use C20 or a Black Star. But that's because you can't look at the bigger picture and many paths players took, and what effects your fair idea would have on new and upcoming players. I just hope PA are smart enough to not make people need both, because as fair as it may be, it's the worst option for gaining and retaining new and upcoming players. Due to how it will look to them and the impacts it will have on the markets, Cafras, and weapons, yeah, before you were given a little insight, you probably thought needing both was the fairest and best option. No arguments, right? But this is how bad decisions are made, no forward thinking. But some of you were so sure. Dismissing chatter that mentioned option 3. Who are you discussing your ideas with before you put them forward as a voice? 'Cause you kinda missed all this, Not a small oversight, but hey, you know the game right. Anyhow, just hope PA know how to plan ahead, and think all probable projections in this area for the next few years, not just what affects the fields for some players. And how they may feel hard done by if they got a Black Star and someone else used a C20, but hey, like I said, my choice is, Black Star players get an enchantment boost to Pry or Duo, now that's more than fair. Fourth option. A quest system. And this is a possibility given PA said new weapons will require guild stuff. That could be a hint of a new path, so what is it? Well, it's where you wipe the slate clean, all past decisions are marginal, and remain in the past, and don't affect new players, and each player has the same opportunity to obtain the weapons, from new to old player, and the only benefit older players have over new? Well, they have better gear already, so they can get materials faster. You are cashing in on the investment you backed before, be it Black Star or not, and maybe even faster if they have a Black Star instead of an offin. Not sure what I think of this idea. It will tank all lesser weapons over time, maybe that's good for new players, but if it's taken them too far, it could make them redundant, more so than green offhands, although I don't personally like this idea, and maybe a lot of involved players won't like it either. It will be the best path PR-wise for PA, so they may pick it. It puts a carrot on a stick, for fast catch-up for new players. All they have to do is get into a guild that will help them get the new weapons. Yeah, sound even more likely when you think about it, and if I don't like it, PA don't care, 'cause I already been here a long time and spent most of the money I'm gonna spend, well as they will calculate, if endgame streamers don't like it. Same sort of situation for PA, and new streamer can come up and fill the void, so advice to such streamers. Go with the flow, 'cause PA will not care what you think. And they will drop you if you cry too much. I hear partners are meant to have a positive attitude. It's in the requirements. I did ask a CM what was meant by this, a CM I was told to ask by the requirements text, but he ignored me. Cool, eh? Fact is, it means nothing. It's a fluff word that they can use to drop you if they wish. Underhand. Snuds out.